Hello everyone, and welcome back to, well, the final best of 3, and we're one map in. For those who missed it, Forza took their border 7-2 and kind of showed why they wanted to bring Vitality to it. But it's Vitality's turn to try and do the same as we head into Bank, our second of this showdown, and our final quarterfinal.
Indeed, potentially the final map to round us off here, and then we move into all of our semi-final matches for every region. Of course, then we have LATAM, I believe it is tomorrow, and then it's NA, and then EU on Wednesday. So we're still not over yet. We're not out of it yet, Fluck, are we? Well, you are.
Yeah, I mean, for me, yeah, I've done a lot. I'm very excited to watch from home.
Yeah, you get to go home now and cast the Leicester Major, don't you?
That is coming up, yeah. You know, it's nice though. I'll be watching it. I've grown so attached to all of these teams, and I just want everyone to have a good time.
You've grown attached to them. And that's lovely.
I want everybody to have a good time. Where's my participation medals? Jackal, Echo, Hibana, the 3 removals. 3 of the 4 removals so far. Hibana makes sense on Bank. It really limits what you can do with those kind of hatches. But at the same time, if you've got a talented Maverick player, well, they can also make a bit of work of them. You just kind of make it a little bit more uncomfortable pushing that basement point. And some other places, such as getting control of the Kanto kind of spot on the top floor from range, and those kind of positions become, well, more solid for a defense.
Jackal ban as well from Vitality is intriguing, because if you're banning that, that means you're going to go for a roam game. So straight away, 4 should know that's going to be your objective whenever they get to go on the defense. But still for 4s, they get their defense first, and let's see how many rounds they can try and rack up, because yes, like you said, with the Hibana ban, it's going to be tough. Still doable though whenever their Maverick is available. Sometimes we've seen double hard breacher bans on Bank, and nobody can ever attack that basement without that. It's literally impossible.
Yeah, it just becomes an absolute slaughter.
It's not fun. You played against that before?
How was it? Not fun?
Not fun.
Oh, it doesn't sound very
Then
fun.
I got to go on the defense, and it's a lot funner then from that standpoint.
It's a great time. Setting themselves up with a lot of information.
Oh, this is intriguing. They're going up, and they're reinforcing the double walls in towards like the loan office. Intriguing play. Are we going to see a very heavy, like, elevator corridor hold in towards Tellers? I think that's what they're gearing up for. The shotgun rotation leads us to believe that. But I wonder if Fords, if they have enough manpower to actually do this, because we've seen teams attempt this in the past, but it hasn't worked out for them. Typically, the attackers have the upper edge whenever teams try and stand their ground with this. But this is Fords' fluke, isn't it?
Yeah, they have a habit of making some unreal plays actually come together. It's the thing about this map is, though, as you said, manpower becomes the big cost. And really, if you do throw someone up there, it doesn't really matter how much utility you throw them with. There's so many other ways to close down on it. There's so many big angles you can have. And, well, we're going to see Stiggy start to try and find a way towards it either way. There is one on the top floor. Very, very top, and is steadily being droned and pushed by Qual and Brede, and they're just going to try and find it, and there's the first drone that lights up where the Jaeger is, and now it's just a matter of seeing if they can collapse down upon him and double down. If they get the first frag in the favor of Rask, well, that's a big slip up here for Vitality, because they have all the information in the world, all the body count, they see him drop down, and now I guess he's fallen down to stage 2 of time waste, which is...
Yeah, that's what they're going for, is a lot of time utility being wasted up now for Vitality. If they don't, like, sure, if they can clear out roamers, but they need to clear out roamers while still having everybody alive, and that's not the way to begin. As Shockwave, he opens up, holding in towards Archives, and that must have been very lackluster droning that Shockwave was able to pick that up. So clearly Vitality sleeping on the drone work, and it has gave Fords the upper advantage as we move into half the round still to go. But Vitality, they have made no headway whatsoever.
Yeah, all the attention has been completely taken aside by the players of Forza, and now that is another body in the hands of Shockwave, who's still looking for a firefight here. Gonna C4 over the top, but it probably won't catch anyone. Everyone's drifted a little bit further away, and then they have the option to, well, I was gonna say rotate to safety, but Bibu is refusing to let the man drift down to the afterlife. Well, Peaceful In is gonna make sure he hits it hard and fast. now. They've got a minute on to try and start to take control of these hatches, and then from then get control of the point. But with more people playing around this open area, and he might not have been droned there, but the Valcam is going to spot it. And, well, this is the fear now. Because they've set up so aggressively, is the ability to respond from this side. And again, if they find one more kill from missed drones, that could be another nightmare round for Vitality.
Spark does square things back into even standpoint, but hey, look, still another guy on server, still has those toxic babes, has that shield. There's no way Vitality get past WTG. They are now forced pretty much to either three-man rush the smoke, which is never going to end well, or they try and drop the hatches and also try and push down main stairs, which is the option that they're headed towards. They know that the man is trapped in server, but they don't even know about the guy who's still lurking in garage. No drones from Vitality, they wasted it all in the roam hunt. Brid has made that kill possible, and now the two guys in server, what a peek from Mozzie. Takes Ed clean off the shoulders of Bibu. Brid has got the plant down, made it successful, but on such low HP, there's the pincer. And Fours, an easy cleanup. They made that work just down to the upstairs clear out, just with the roamers being able to eat up all the time, the utility, the drones, more importantly. Not having enough time with the drones to get that guy in garage was the big blunder there for Vitality.
Yeah, that was a really, really nice hold, because it's rare to see.
We never see those, and it's worked, which is even more strange.
Yeah, that's the thing, and maybe it's because it's so rare to see, because obviously if they've been able to find out the information of how lackluster stuff towards the point might have been, they might have been able to take advantage of it quicker and more aggressively, but that time round, yeah, they were so free and able to just get aggressive and get their way in, and, you know, and it was just, they pulled the attackers apart on a step-by-step basis.
Yeah.
It was 12 steps towards your damnation, really. Teller's office and archives, they're going to opt for next. Only head one up, but they're bringing things like the castle. They're setting themselves up for a top floor hold again. Curious where the Kaid's going to go. Obviously, I'm assuming they're going to try and set that to electrify stuff, but it's a big set of guns.
I can get why they're bringing the Kaid, because that could help if they're holding open area and you reinforce the open area hatches. You can use those electro claws on that standpoint. That would be the only thing I kind of see them using it for. There's not really anything else you can get the grip off. Fours, they've brought the castle, and castle is kind of designed, I feel, for Bank in terms of holding open area. The kind of angles that you can, of course, like lock off that massive double one he's done in towards elevator is a big one for it. So I can see, honestly, I can see Vitality just go for a straight lobby, just execute that way. I think that could be in their kind of in their playbook.
It could work well for them, because obviously you've got to look at. It's the hard thing about reading fresh strategies on this map is you kind of got to come up with fresh responses, and on the basement point it's harder to do because it's so expected what's going to happen.
You're limited to what to do.
Yeah. On this point you get a bit more freedom and a bit more creativity, and I want to kind of see a team that is famously good at kind of droning setup and attack style of being able to make it work, really.
Still low roamers from Fours, and Vitality, will they take the plunge in going for the hunt? Looks as if they're going to try and go for the upstairs clear, so they're going to try and get themselves some CEO, get Qual in, has the sledgehammer, and you can pretty much open up every single angle that anybody can sit in, just inside of archives and tellers. Very simple to do. This is kind of like the norm that teams want to try and achieve. Only thing you have to be worried about is C4s, and well, there is two of those from WTG and Pasha, and they're just doing the drone work. So nobody on the roam game for Fours is interested in upstairs. It's all about the open area hold. Thermite is putting down a charge, but there's a Kaid, and that isn't Electroclaw for some reason. Strange.
Yeah, as I said, I kind of wanted to see what the Kaid is, and apparently...
They've done the wall instead.
Yeah, and I don't know. We'll see how it comes together. Spark struggling to get the...
Mozzie drone.
Yeah, and, well, the other one, again, it's just driving further and further.
Oh, there you go. Nice shot, though.
Yeah, managed to find it on the final shot, and they're steadily opening up the vertical play above, but without any of Forza kind of suffering as of yet. They've got to do a little bit more aggressive tactics if they want to try and find a way to shut it down.
Okay, so they've electroclawed the janitor's hatch. That makes a lot of sense, because that is kind of like the main cross and the main split off, where the kind of hold in towards kitchen also comes from. First blood, though, actually falls in favor of Four, surprisingly, as Rash just playing on the main stairs. This is why they set up the castle barricade in towards elevator, so they can have the main man hold the main stairs, gives them rotations in towards open and towards the top floor, but more importantly, denies the plant if the push wants to come in via the southwest door.
Well, WTG puts more bodies of Vitality down, and now it's becoming a tighter and tighter fight. Spark is still trying to clear above, and Bibu is trying to clear much closer to point as WTG finds his double for the round. But Bibu has actually crept and crawled his way in with a bit of cover coming over the top of from Brede. Waiting for someone to swing a little bit wide as the aggression comes in, but if Bibu has gone undetected, they might be able to find a quick pick here and just be able to start putting something in their favor. But you can see Forza, the guns are lining themselves up to be more directed towards this death side, and there is the shutdown.
Vitality open up things, but they don't apply pressure. And what's the point of opening it up if you're not going to utilize it? You've opened up that main hatch in open area. Why is there still people alive inside of open area? That makes no sense. If you're opening up the hatch, use it. If you open that up, that basically gives the guy who can jump in through the open area single window beside the park alley, he can jump in there now. Doesn't worry about nobody in open area. Then they can apply pressure to the kitchen. Then they eliminate the Maestro. Then from there, as we know, the extension in, that triple wall's already open that Vitality can utilize and use and abuse. Assist that with the sledge and vertical control you can also apply. That should be a deal done. But no, for fours, they just get things open above them and they say, okay, I'll just go sit over here then and wait for you to push me. Fours want the challenge. Fours want these gunfights because fours right now, they're on Cloud 9. They know they can win every single gunfight that Vitality put towards them.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that is really kind of coming in clutch for them so far. And as we saw with, you know, some of their holds before on board of the couple that we got to see, they're happy to kind of say, well, no, this is the ground we're going to give you. You've got to try and take it. And there was one time where the gamble just didn't quite pay off. But otherwise, so far on this bank, the space that they're allowing themselves to have, which is, as we said, a little bit off the beaten path, it's working really, really well in their favor because they're happy to, as you said, take these firefights, take these aggressions, say, well, you're going to have this or you've got to kill me. This is your two options, you know, try and make it work. They're not really giving because they know that they can take. And, well, so far it's just been really swinging and swanning in their favor. Vitality, they're going to attack the third different point, the top floor, and, well, if you were to look at traditional holds, this is so far seemingly the most traditional. They've obviously got the quad wall done all up. They have Kama playing not too far away with the Valkyrie, and, well, Kama's looking for some aggression against the Skylight, and is going for a jump out very early and finds IQ, and is now just going to wait.
Just go in the sewers? No, unlucky. Couldn't get back to Master Splinter in time.
No, it was close to making it, and if they had waited an extra, like, 3-4 seconds and Bibu had gone inside, they would have made it. That's why I thought they might hesitate why they did it so early and just, like, dig in, but
yeah,
unfortunately not to be seen just yet.
Still though, pressure from Forge just makes Vitality just chill, just that tad, and the aggression being added in by Stiggy has the drone. Let's see if he wins the gunfight. Yes, he does. Shockwave, he hits the floor. Now this gives Vitality the opening that they dearly need. Pasha peeks randomly with no information and also meets his hand to Stiggy, and there's the double up. The man on the staircase covers his teammate, and Rask, 1 versus 4. This has to be the first round for Vitality on Bank.
Well, it was the most default hold, and it's been the most default read so far from the attackers. Yes, the defenders got aggressive in and amongst it, and Rask is still swanning around on that, and it's kind of amazing how neither of them died in that firefight, but Vitality, it was only really a matter of time to collapse against the man stuck behind a very small wall. 2-1 is the split now, but they also have the armory and the lockers site open in the basement. Whether they go down there and whether they do it the same, curious to see.
Did they not have a Valkyrie camera in main lobby? Because IQ got picked off straight away, and IQ was not anywhere near the main lobby. She was in the windows. Was there no information being gathered by them? Really strange, because we seen Pasha, he just peeked wildly, not having a clue what to look for. Just information there lacking for fours, and it's a bit of a shock. And even bringing the Maestro, not a Maestro camera in sight to cover Banana, it's a bit strange. Usually we see one tabbed on Kanto position.
Well, that was the thing about when we talked about the bans as well, is taking Hibana off means that kind of Kanto corner is...
Yeah, it does, yeah.
It's solid. It's you don't kind of throw... And it allows you to have crossfires on angles like the ones that we saw Vitality entirely kind of push behind, and there just wasn't really any of that from Forza. And for all the times they've kind of gone, let's test this, it's worked, let's test this, it's worked, let's test this. Oh no, this one hasn't quite found the mark. And good kind of read there from Vitality to go, well, they've thrown one at us this aggressively. Valkyrie's jumped out a window and got one, but we've got her. But let's just throw ourselves at them. Let's hit up Banana, Stiggy go hard. We've got the double up cover as well to pick up anyone that might go a little bit wide. And, you know, from then on, it worked in their favor.
All right, fours, how will things play out for you? Again, going from the same similar setup where they hold in towards the mid floor. It's not a question of what fours will do, it's how well Vitality can adapt and improve and what happened last time. Sure, they inevitably did clear out the roamers, but they took a lot of man count for it, a lot of time, utility, and more importantly, they had no more drones for the final kind of 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, it's one of the things of being able to take control of the utility has worked very, very well in terms of this hold from Forza, but again, it's down to how Vitality respond. We've already seen Jaeger drop down a floor. He's currently playing in the slightly more sturdy area of this back office hallway, but you know, Vitality, they're taking their time with it. They're droning ahead, they're pushing, and you've got to realize that with the amount of tiers in this cake of defense, well, they've got to find ways to shut it down quickly, and that's a good start. Takes care of the Jaeger, and that allows them to be a bit more aggressive and a bit more kind of fluid around these top floors, because that's one body off before they begin their, well, next tier of the cake.
Another one for Vitality. So finally, the mid floor, it's cracked. Fours, disadvantage. Still have that server control, though, and that will probably be the next step that Vitality have to try and take care of, and Pasha trying his hand, but thankfully for Vitality, thankfully for Stiggy, he doesn't walk into that one. So minute 30, hatch is already open for them, and fours at 2-man deficit. This could be the start for Vitality. This could be something for them.
Yeah, they've still got a fair bit left to do, and there's a couple of C4s and smokes that can be done with it. Maestro getting very aggressive there, and maybe just trying to act as some covering fire as the man rotates back towards point to offer some more safety. But either way, you know, those kind of decisions, they can sometimes go wrong if you're against a team like Vitality that, as we've already seen, are very, very good at covering shoulders and covering angles. In the meantime, they're a bit concerned about the backstairs, but with a minute on, Vitality have all the time in the world to start to formulate their push, and they're seemingly going the general standard method. They're trying to break in via the server side, and here comes the EMPs to stop the Maestro cams, and well, it's seeing if the C4 can catch it, or if the bait works out, or the smoke canisters, and this is the big old trade-off of utility.
Yeah, but the Maestro, though, you cannot get past the man playing inside of Garage. You have to put pressure on him. You can no longer safely plant unless you have, like, some cover of smokes. But for Vitality, Spartan knows the angle. He knows what to look for, and they're not budging unless he's dead. Still have to go for another two members. Pasha is still alive, and there's the one tap from Kama. Now we're going to have to see Spark pick up the diffuser and try the same thing. Another tap comes in. Kama's been flashed. I wonder if anybody from Vitality will try and drop and collapse, and yes, they're going to go for it. Surely there has to be a kill coming in somewhere from Vitality, but no fours. They pulled it back. Kama's still tapping away. Nobody can stop him. Qual's TK'd Bibu, and fours. They've pulled away with that. They've done the hit and run.
Yeah, well, that Maestro was just left unchallenged.
Wow.
He just sat there and just went, duh.
How many times have I told you about that angle?
Oh, how many times has every stack ever told anyone about that angle? You know that angle. Everybody knows that angle. Maestro in Garage is, it's like butter and toast. It's a classic.
Butter and toast. I know people who don't like butter, so...
Well, they probably don't. They ban Maestro then. That's the people that don't like butter.
Aren't you better like saying like NA and throwing? Isn't that like a better comparison?
Okay, I'm not trying to pick fights here. I'm just really hungry. Apparently.
You don't want to pick fights on an EU play day with primarily an EU audience who will agree with me.
No, but I'm just hungry. Is all.
Oh, you're hungry. Oh, you're thinking about food. Yeah, nice, nice one.
That's the situation I'm in. Either way, yes, it's so familiar. And
is that what you want? Is that what you want for your dinner?
Yeah,
some toast. Is that what we're going to give you?
Just I live a terrible lifestyle.
What do you want? Do you want some water with that as well? This can be even more bland.
That's spoiling me now. Tellers, they're going to up back to. They're going to take the Tellers point and you know, it's a fairly predictable rotate round here, and this was a good hold from them. We saw people try and sneak in with a bit of cover from Pre-Day, but when you're in that 5-2 or 4-2 kind of situation, things start to fall apart. And you know, so far I think what Vitality are missing is a little bit of the pace, because this is a big map. Obviously, it's often cited as handing towards the defenders, but you've got to find a bit more ground.
Well, I mean, the fact that the attackers get a lot of vertical control going for them in a lot of the bomb sites, you look at the open area and Tellers especially, if you take above, it should just be an easy lockout for the attackers. The basement is like the only one, but to be fair, if you look at basement, if you get a plant down in the CCTV room, that just gives you like an automatic win. Like, how many times have we seen the diffuser go down and the defenders just run to their deaths?
Yeah, it's such a firing line, and it's such a big kind of level of demolition, and you know, and it's this map, and we talk about kind of predictable places and predictable operators and where they're played, and it's the same for plant points on this. It's sure, there's a lot of tactical depth, there's creative ways to hold it. We saw one in the very first round, and then we saw slight adaptations on it that were kind of falling apart the second time we went down to the lockers, but at the same time, you know, familiar is familiar for reason, really.
Vitality, taking it very slow. I think they're just looking for the first pick, want to give themselves a bit of an advantage, but hey, we've seen that before. They've gave themselves a 5-3 lead advantage, and Force still pull off the win. A lot of roam game being applied by Force, especially towards the basement side. And there's at least 3 of them lurking around here, one on main stairs, one on the back stairs, and, well, Jaeger right in the middle of it. So pretty much for Force, they're trying to hold this bomb site without actually being in it. So it's an off-site retake strategy. They only have Kama, and even at that, I think Kama's like an open area, so literally nobody's anywhere.
Yeah, they're kind of treating this with a little bit of you know, a 10-foot
Yeah, he is an open area. Nobody's in the bomb sites. Everything's opened up. They're just playing for the long picks.
Well, Rask is the first to suffer, and for the second time in a row, Spark's the one to put him there. And that could be something that they can find a little bit of momentum in. Obviously, the Legion off the board with a minute on gives you some safety against his traps, and means the IQ can be a little bit more focused and funneled towards the point itself. In the meantime, they've got this back wall open, and they've got themselves on the main stairs. So they're setting up their cross angle to try and get this plant in close towards this A wall, as is a standard place to kind of get it in. But there is the man underneath that is potentially going to be the big problem. If he can rotate and he can make something of this, well, that could be a big swing in their favor.
Yeah, everybody from Fours now, they're backed up in a corner. They can only fight just through the breach. There's no kind of flanks they can maneuver in. The angles and the cover being held by Vitality is really strong. Shockwave somehow tiptoeing through the bomb site, and there's Pasha and Kama as well. For some reason, Vitality, they cannot collapse. They cannot try and bite the bullet and finally finish off a round well enough. More pings come in, and there's Qual eliminates WTG. Another one swing back now. It's a 1v2. Shockwave has to clutch up. They're going to try and push in and go for the plant, but that comes to information, an easy pick up. Oh, and Fours, they win. Down to the time running out. What a play from Shockwave, making sure the crouch key is working. And well, Vitality again, for like the 100th time, their final execution and being able to hold their nerve just collapses once more.
Can't believe he just jack in the box, that man. Just popped up out of nowhere and just downed him. I think that's almost more evil, like downing him, and obviously didn't even need to get the kill, just the plant stopped, and well, what a way to slip to 4-1 as a break. Obviously, you're assuming, as we said, that defenders with the bans and with the kind of way that this is playing should be getting a bit more ground under their feet. But with how For's playing and with how Vitality is just struggling to get that last collapse and get that last bit of Force under control, you know, that can be something that if we see the kind of coordinated effort from Forza that is still being uncontested on their attacks, it could be a fast second half to this map.
And even if you look at Border, Fours and their attacks were so dominant. Yes, I know it's a different map, different bans, different objectives, the way you have to play Bank compared to Border is a lot different, but still, the raw gun skill that kind of showed through from Fours, I'm sure it'll follow through into Bank as well. So really, Vitality, they're up against it. If they go down another 5-1 split, I think that they're in for it, and I really think that Fours will just steamroll their way through again. This is a big turning point now for Vitality. They need this. There's no way out. This is a round that they must win. And to be fair, the last time we seen them attack this, they did win it. Look, Spark just making sure that he doesn't get jumped out again, and making sure it's all prepped for himself.
Yeah, a little bit of flashbacks there previously. They take out the default camera and it allows them a bit of semblance. But to be fair, this was the point, obviously, that Vitality took. And Forza kind of threw themselves at them, in a way.
They're playing Kanto this time, which I like to see from Force, because they kind of just gave everything up for Vitality. They just let them have control of Banana, and it was just an easy pickings. Stiggy primarily leading the charge for Vitality. There is a bit of downstairs control, though, towards the mid-floor that Vitality just have to be cautious of. So that was the Valkyrie camera that I pleaded for to come in, but since IQ is alive, then it doesn't really matter. Kama trying to peek on in, but he should know better. They're in open area. Or not open area, they're in lobby. Yep. You know, like, you should know they're going to be holding that, and Shockwave, he just flicks Bibu off the rappel.
Yeah, and that was it. This was kind of what we missed last time. Stiggy does lock down the kill below, and that is a C4 off the board, as well as a Valkyrie that, to be fair, sacrificed herself in the previous round. However, the pace was what kind of took it for Vitality last time.
You even look at the way they've played Kanto Shield. That is generally looking down the corridor. They know that Vitality are coming from lobby, so they've set it up, approaching for that. Stiggy fires in some concussions and also going to try and eliminate the nade. Oh no! Tried to go for the shield, but the nade now gets tossed on in. Let's see if he lives it. Yes, he will do, and the shield's still up as well. There's the Maestro cameras. Spark does find Shockwave. He was a bit of a menace towards Banana. And now it's just left WTG to try and solo hold this staircase away from Vitality.
Well, that is 2 of the remote gas grenades, and he's just saying, no, you're not coming up these stairs just yet. And to be fair, it's allowed Pasha to rotate around and potentially going to try and find a body before they pop the 3rd smoke canister. In the meantime, they obviously still have the threat on the window. There it is. Pasha gets a man down, but they will be able to get that picked up because they just used the last smoke canister.
Guy in main stairs, though. That's the menace that Fours are not ready for. We can easily see Spark just creep on up, but no, instead, it's actually going to be Qual. He's creeping up with the sledge, but as you can see, Pasha has his gun pointed towards that way. 3 of them stacked up now. Onto the staircase, the push comes in, but here's WTG. Does get eliminated, but at least got 1 kill. Pasha does trade off Qual, and it's just down to Pasha in a 1v2. Creeping on in has the LMG. Sees the IQ, but also they see him. They know where he is. Diffuser needs to come in, needs to be covered a lot better than what we've seen from the Tellers, and yes, it will be. Vitality fire free, Spark especially, playing big. And round number 6 goes their favor.
4-2. Not an unpredictable scoreline for any team on the coming out of the attack onto the defense on this map, and plenty for Vitality to kind of bring together on a map which will allow them, hopefully, a little bit more time and a little bit more control. Talking of, they obviously banned the Jackal. One of the things we mentioned is this going to lead to them being a bit more aggressive on the roam? They are capable of it, but it's something that we didn't see a huge amount of, unfortunately. We obviously had 1 or 2 moments of BB Brilliance where he was caught. You know, he found himself in the middle of an entire push and then was able to start picking them apart. But this might free up some of these players that are, you know, traditionally very, very good at roaming to find more and more ground. We're going to head to lockers first of all, and this is a lesser seen roam point, but it's still one that obviously, you know, they can play with a bit of aggression. The one thing I'm kind of instantly noticing here is the lack of Maestro.
Yeah, but then they do make up for information in the form of Clash. That's kind of being the sub for the Mira, which has been banned away by Fours. Curious to see how they're going to use her. Will they use her for trying to hold in towards server stairs and have someone like Spark with a shotgun behind? Will they try and play her on site as that sub for the Mira window? A lot of options for them. For Fours, though, they have the Capitao at their fingertips. That should make quick work of Bibu if he ever is inside of the staircase, being able to just trap him off and then easily being able to squeeze everything away from him. Still, though, I think that it can work well for Vitality. That information they can gather and see how many players from Fours are kind of stacked up outside of the Skylight will probably be the big thing that kind of goes with them. Also the shields, so a lot of kind of information, as much as they can get to try and stop Fours.
Well, they're setting a lot up in the server stairs to try and hold it, and here comes a quick clear from Force, wasting no time as Shockwave steadies himself across all the way to main stairs. His own drone is what's leading him forward at this point, and they're just kind of doing that across the entirety of the map, making sure open area is clear too as Rask hops in, but they will only really find the players beneath. Sees the Valkyrie cam, takes care of it as well, and there's the default cam, and well, there's the drone picked up and ready to go, as this is the Maverick able to start opening these hatches. One of the things we commented on before is, yes, taking off the Hibana does make these hatches, they're a slower crack open, but it's still something that a talented Maverick player can do, and he is definitely one of those as he starts to steadily open up the angles that become vital in holding this off in a later point. 2 minutes on the board, and they've already started to find their way down towards the point, and this was where we saw Vitality really struggle.
Yeah, but still, for Fours, plenty of time to play with. Of course, no roam game that they had to worry about from Vitality. Instead, it's more that server hold that most teams kind of generically head towards, and that's like their main goal. I like that rotation, though, from WTG to head down into the sewers, and that kind of creates another angle. A quick peek from Stiggy, though, as Maverick got caught sleeping there. Bibu does get flashed, but still he has that shield out and ready to go. Nobody really pushing from it, even the pre-play smoke from Smart, just in case things do go south. Just backing up now, ever so slightly. But WTG is the main man now to kind of look towards, but the AMP grade does now alert Vitality to his position, and Brid even fires for eliminates Kama. There's the Capital, Bolsters to drop, comes in, and still, Brid walks away with yet again another kill. WTG is in, but it doesn't matter, he's getting burned by his own teammate. Oh no, WTG, why bro, why? Shockwave trying to fire on through, but he's going to get killed by the Clash more than likely. Eliminates Spark, charges at Clash, but then there's the cover from Stiggy. And Vitality, an expected defensive win just because it is the basement.
Yeah, 4-3, the gap isn't as wide as it was before, but, you know, that is, as you said, it's the basement point. It's generally expected to go in the favor of defenders, and it was a very good hold from Vitality, and they were able to kind of exploit what Forza were trying to do, especially with a bit of that counter-aggression that we've obviously sometimes wanted them to do. Stiggy going against the Maverick and aggressively trying to find that hold instead of letting it just kind of fall upon them, because when you give Forza a lot of ground, they can make a lot of use of it. Heading now to the top floor, CEO, which was a point that they were able to take on one of their attacks, even on both their attacks. Even it was both of their.
It was only 2-1. There was only 3 that they won.
Yeah. So this is one that hopefully they've got a bit of an idea of how to hold it slightly differently. I'm seeing Maestro on the board, seeing the castle, seeing some more familiar kind of faces here. So I'm assuming we're going to see, well, more like the second time round of what Forza are attempting.
This is kind of the challenge now for Vitality, is to win. Not a lockers. They need to win a second bomb site at least to keep them in the running. Sure, you can lose your third bomb site, but this is such an important one because I feel if Fours win this round and they extend their lead to 5-3, I really don't know if Vitality can come back from that just with the kind of bomb sites, the way they work. Sure, if they only win lockers, still not going to be enough. That can only get them so far. And Fours at that stage, they can just steamroll in. The thing about Fours, though, apart from like the lockers, they're very structured in how they kind of take apart bomb sites. You know, they always like to have every player alive, quite similar to Vitality. But whenever Fours have all 5 alive, they really make the manpower work. We've seen the kind of different angles and different rotations that they utilize. Do bring the Thermite, and no denial from Vitality, so no Bandit, no Kaid, don't have to worry about any of that nonsense. Stiggy, inside of stock trading though, has all of those holes available to himself to try and hold the Skylight, but can be very quickly shut down just by somebody opening the windows just in front of him.
Well, Pasha is trying to add some aggression again across this top side as Forza. They're being quick, they're being swift, and you know, it's down to seeing if they can find Stiggy, who's actually going to drop down and look for an aggressive firefight. Here's the drones whirring above, and instead, again, this is kind of what we wanted a little bit of before, is leaning into this aggression, leaning into the ability to kind of hit Force where they might be weak, because if you can start to pull them apart before they even get close, well, you can really start to swing some of these rounds in your favor. In the meantime, Bride is trying to hold the close angle there behind the shield, and Spark is waiting to impact trick any charges that Kama might try and put against this back wall of 4.
Yeah, Fours just looking for an opening. primarily, they're going to go for the Thermite charges. Again, there's nothing there that really stops them from opening up unless an impact trick comes in, which it does not. And that wall will be opened. You know, they have impact grenades. They've opened up the top of it for a reason. A little bit strange why they wouldn't go for that. Perhaps just fearing Shockwave in the windows makes sense. You don't want to try and give yourself away and give Fours that advantage like we've talked about. If you give them that if you open the door for them, well, they'll walk straight in and lock you outside. So for Fours, they're doing the last bit of drone work and perhaps trying to explode onto the bomb site, but instead of that, WTG, he's the first man to fall.
Yeah, big misstep there as they just tried to like charge his way around the corner, and you kind of realize that someone is going to be holding from that desk and is able to just gun down inside. It's the smoke as well, so he can offer himself some bit of control now as people in Pasha particularly start trying to creep around the back stairs, but Stiggy is still below and is still waiting for a moment to be able to offer some kind of bullets back towards the attackers. And if that goes unchecked and he manages to collapse back, whether via square and whether via skylight or whether via whatever staircase he chooses, well, it can be very decisive. In the meantime, Shockwave is trying to let some ground in and some space for Kama to work the diffuser, but the longer they leave it, the more likely things are to start to collapse. As we can see, Vitality are still happy to meet aggression. The man hops out and goes for a rotate underneath. This castle is ready to potentially try and put pressure against Shockwave on the windows, but here is the plant going down. Kama is doing everything he can to stun it, and Shockwave finds Qual, and we're in a post-plant situation. There's a quick sprint there for Brede to get Pasha, but they've now got to try and find the retake, and there's a big crossfire coming out from behind Ash, caught between two very tough positions to be in, and well, so is Rask, but there's Kama, still alive and still fighting. He's clutching on to the rest of this round with all he can, but with 3 people on the side of Vitality left alive, it is a tough hold.
Creeps on in, and there's another one for him, but surely the crossfire and spray comes in, and Vitality, an excellent retake from them. Fours even managing to get the plant down and forcing their way in was great. Stiggy played his cards perfectly. You couldn't ask for a better flush from him. He just took his time downstairs. Nobody from Fours with interest. There was no flank coverage. We're not seeing the Nomad being brought by Fours like it was in Border. And he just managed to do his thing as a Jaeger on the flank. Deadly thing to kind of have at your side. And Fours now, they've slowed down a little bit. They've hit the mark. I just don't know what it is about Vitality, though, but they're starting to get themselves back into it. They seem a little bit more about them. You know, there's a little bit more life to the team, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if we're talking about this map, yes, their defense is always going to be better, but you compare their defenses to what it was on Border, and they just seem more energetic.
Yeah, it's night and day.
Yeah, they're happier to move around the map. They're happier to kind of counter the aggression that Fours can bring with their own. They're really able to start to find some groundswell that they can potentially utilize and use to, well, further themselves throughout this. And, you know, if they can keep this roll going and if they get this off point, you know, they really have a lot to do, Forza, because it will at that point really be Vitality's to lose. And setting themselves up, and we said those 2 rounds that they got on attack would be kind of vital and monumental, and you know, this is the proof here, because it was the 3rd point that Forza lost both times. Forza, yeah. So it's seeing if Vitality can break that trend, break the mold, and bring themselves back into this.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Okay, Vitality take up the mantle for their 3rd bomb site. Will be that Tellers. I know the Vitality also have an open area up their sleeve, and that could be another potential one that they could bring to the party. But for the meantime, just sticking with some fairly standard takes so far. They have a couple of roamers scattered around, but good anchors as well. Heavy in the C4s, you have, of course, the Valkyrie there and the Mute, who can try and excel and get some of those tossed up. 4-4s, I'd imagine they're going to try and go for the upstairs room clear out, try and utilize the soft destruction that Shockwave brings with a sledgehammer. Couple of things still going for them, but I don't know. The way that Fords have kind of been looking on their attacks, they've took even quite a while to get things set up, and whenever even they start to slow down, you can see there's moments where they're like, does somebody want to do something? And then it just, you know, someone has to step up, and last round it was Shockwave, but in the end it didn't really matter.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of thing about it, is when that's what you're relying on and when everything kind of falls together on, Really like the camera work there, just feeding the information to Spark about what is going on. And there's Stiggy again with this aggression that we talked about before, and they're able to kind of force Forza into positions that they might not be as comfortable playing in, which is a back foot for the trade of it, and it's rarer to see, I say, as Shockwave opens up through Spark, and for the first time in a while puts them on the front foot.
Does indeed, and whenever we know Forbes has that man advantage, well, they take full advantage off that, as they're geared up still towards that top floor. Minute 20, plenty of time, can get in with a sledgehammer. I like the fact that they have Pasha playing as a lone wolf, because if anybody wants to try and rotate up in towards the top floor, even try and rotate back down in towards the lobby, he should be able to catch them out. Stiggy, just combine him and Pengu there for a bit, but yeah, Stiggy just... He's lurking around the top floor. What a pick from him with the LMG. And another one for Stiggy through the wall. Oh my word, the Finn. The Finn.
Wow, this is what we wanted him. This is what we wanted him to do. More importantly, on the previously, this is why we want him, but this is what we wanted him to do on the previous map, as he adds another to his tally. The ability and the confidence that he is currently swimming with as he careens towards an ace has just, you know, we were missing it so entirely on the previous map. And there's another round in the hands of Vitality. 5-4. That is 4 rounds in a row. They're looking better and better as they go, and that is all 3 defense rotation possibilities done. So now they can go back to lockers to get themselves on the match point, and they've got the choice of where they want to go with a buffer of 2. So this is really theirs to lose, and at this point, I feel like we're going to see this third map.
Gotta love old Stegu, don't you?
Love some Stiggy. Buy the official merchandise.
We're gonna rebrand them as.
It's just
You're no longer Stiggy, you're Stegu.
It's a penguin, but it's got the Finnish flag across it instead.
Yeah.
Lockers and CCTV. As I said, this is the point that they can rotate to. This was a very good hold from Vitality. If you look at how much work Forza had left to do, and you know the kind of space and time that they had to do it in, and who they had to still get through, because you got to realize even when they went down, a Clash was still alive, and that Clash's role is to just kind of hold that, let people shoot around, and pull back and fall back and pull back and fall back, and eat as much time on service as possible. And she didn't even need to begin to do that. They were so confident in just being able to hold them off on that very first pass. It was some good ideas from Forza. They went for a deep rotate. They went all the way around via dirt, and as you called it, it was a very clever rotate, but they couldn't quite make it work and ended up being cooked to death by a team.
10 seconds left before insertion.
So,
5 seconds left.
Fours and their attacks. Very lackluster, to say the least. Not a lot really went for them. Vitality not going for like a heavy roam game towards the mid floor, instead just holding down that server as much as they can. Also bringing the kite, but shouldn't really affect Fours whenever they have Maverick, they have Thatcher as well. But that lack of Abana will probably come in to try and hurt them a little bit more, and that's the whole reason why the Outbreak gets banned, is to give the defenders an easier time for the basement hold. Swinging in through the top floor, Fours are trying to go for a quick roam clear out, making sure nobody's lurking. And then they will finally work their way into the bomb site, and primarily in towards server, which they didn't have the greatest time of clearing out last time. No Kabatao, of course, and that makes things just 10 times harder. They have to rely on either Pasha using his stuns, or even Shockwave if he gets a nade down there.
A little bit less of a pace here from some of the members of Forza as they try and find their way through, and I guess they're just trying to find out entirely what Vitality are doing. Maybe they're going to be a little bit more structured in the way they push it. It seems like they want to take this, and there's the Kaid going down, and there's the Thatcher just not getting it. A brilliant trick there to be able to catch it based on the timings, and that was beat for beat exactly how you do it, and Qual keeps one of those off and allows themselves a bit more control over these hatches. Now, what are you going to do with the limitations you've just provided yourself, Forza? Because even if you get through, you had to take care of that hatch, but you've still got a big wall to deal with later on, and there's a lot of other places that they can be a bit safer in. It's a lot of work now for your Maverick to try to finish off and finalize everything else they've got to do, and you've still got to get through the Clash too, so the work is cut out for you.
Here comes the execution in towards server stairs, and that should be a dead Clash, and yes, it will be. 2 more to find, though. One still on the staircase, one in behind the server rack. But now it's looking a lot better for Fords. No more nades, though, for Shockwave. WTG again pressuring in towards Dirt Tunnel. Smoke just has to stay alive and waste as much time as he can. Has the shotgun ready to go, but the cover being provided by Kama means that he won't be able to play as aggressive what you would think. Another flashbang gets tossed in, but very quickly just dodges it away. Oh, he's been full blind, but still gets the kill nonetheless. Rask got straight into it. Is anybody else going to try their hand? Spark, unfortunately, does fall as they push in from Pasha. Still low behind server rack is where Brit is. Being pressured now from both ways, but look at Qual. He's right behind the bomb, being able to support being able to support and gets the kill on WTG. Another one, no, Pasha eliminates Brid, and Qual just unfortunately just barely misses the shots onto Kama. Stiggy though, he just appears out of nowhere, eliminates Shockwave, and now once again for Fords, they're at a big disadvantage.
Sees the side of a Stiggy, who drops down and finds the kill, and the diffuser gets picked up and traded. They just have to find a sliver of damage, but the Kaid is nowhere to be seen, and Vitality put themselves on map point.
My oh my, really was not expecting this. This is some going from just from Vitality to really put up this fight. And I think we're going to be headed to map number 3.
Yeah, and it's a clubhouse, so it's a good map for both of them. It's, you know, it's kind of a middle ground in a weird way between bank and border. There's those facets and fast little points of aggression, and then there's the big kind of roam points and possibilities. There's a lot that both these teams can bring, and if I'm honest, I expect both of them to do it. However, it's not over yet. It's a tough battle. Sure, there's 2 rounds as a difference. Even if you take one, you've then got to repeat the magic, and you know, it's a better kind of lineup and sign up than how it's gone. And even if this goes in the favor of Vitality, because Forza have the better round difference, they get the choice of the first half of how they want to take Clubhouse. However, you know, it's still up in the air, really.
It is indeed. Okay, CEO, Vitality. Ball's in your court. How can you play it? Last time for Fords, they barely missed out winning this bomb site. It was really well actually retaken by Vitality to have everybody in a position. Stiggy had a phenomenal round, the way he kind of lurked in the shadows and waited for his opportune moment. But it's still going to be tough though. We know what Fords are like. We've seen them pull back upsets before, and this could be one of them. But just Vitality, they look as if they're in their comfort zone. On border, they were just way in over their heads. Now Bank is looking like a lot stronger for them, and it's proved. That's why they're leading. They have not dropped a single defense 4 in a row. Even did better than what Fords did. You know, even Fords did 4 in a row.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of, I guess we'll have to see if they can keep it, you know, going just for one more round. They've obviously changed not a huge amount. Koala's bringing the docks. They're ready for some aggression on this top floor, and they're going to see if they can get the opening pick, because last time we were in CEO, Brede pulled it off, but the diffuser went down. I think that was the thing that we saw there across the side, and maybe they're going to try and find a little bit more solidity in terms of the lock-off there.
Again, window game for Shockwave. It's looking for a pick. That's just been castled right in front of him, and Shockwave was not quick enough to react. But now they know the castle is on site. Doesn't have any Ash launchers though, that's the only worry for him, so he cannot open up that castle barricade. Might have to bring in Pasha. Still has one more impact. Stiggy, look at him again, just lurking. Just lurking. Not showing himself at all, and I think it may play out exactly the same as what we've seen previously, Fluke.
Yeah, well, in the meantime, Shockwave, for the 3rd time in a row, finds the opening frag, but it hasn't worked their favor in any of the rounds. He's found it on a different person each time, though, so I guess he's testing different recipes. This time it's Qual who suffers. But again, you've got to find the ground. You've got to be able to make something out of this. Kama, in the meantime, has crept his way into plant, and he's trying to stick it down, and there's nothing that is immediately countering him. There is some impact trying, but we're in a post-plant, and Shockwave gets torn apart by Bibu with the range that is now being offered to the attackers. They're able to hold this, and Spark is on the floor, and he's not out, and he might be able to be picked up, but do they have the time? Creeping up the stairs, do you not see him with your FOV? There he is. Stiggy gets shut down, WTG, and that could be a very, very big kill as they drone and have all the attention in the world and what needs to happen with only a third of the diffuser time left. Brede has to find a way in, but he cannot. Shut down by Forza, and this looks like they can, and they will, bring it to within 1 round of OT.
Wow, Forza were quick, really quick in getting that defuse down. It went, about minute 10. That was locked and loaded. And well, Forza, they got the opening pick. They looked at the positions, and they were like, hey guys, there's nothing really stopping us. There's nobody below with a C4. Maestro's not in a position to try and help out his team. Smoke is inside Janners. That's going to be a hard shot to hit whenever you are pressuring him. Just doesn't work out. So now we move into potentially still the final round of this map, unless Forza can pull off a bit of magic, and it will be on the tellers. And this was single-handedly won by Stiggy. Single guy won them it. Will he do the same?
I guess we'll find out if they can find a way to respond. And as you said, and rightly so, the pace of them getting the plant down was kind of took Vitality a bit by surprise. We could see them attempt to do a collapse from multiple different sides. They went for the peak on the windows, and well played from Forza to be aware of that stuff and to just hold themselves a little bit at bay, a little bit from safety, listen in and try and trust and keep the cover from inside. But they've got to try and replicate that now on a different point with a different attacking style, where you've got to still take this top floor, sure, and you've got to take it across sometimes a similar amount of defense. But, you know, it's down to how Vitality respond here.
10 seconds to insertion.
Right. This is a tense one, because it can really sway either way. I don't see anybody really having the favoritism here inside of this bomb site specifically. I think that they can suit Forza well if they take the upstairs control, but then Vitality, they have the upstairs control, and they've looked great whenever they have it. So, Forza, again, they have some great potential fraggers there that we know can kind of turn up. Shockwave, especially on the Ash, has been great for getting the opening first blood time and time again. Let's see if he can reproduce the results once more. Forza, again, just doing a bit of droning, looking as if they're going to go for a skylight take. So they're going to try and attack this off-site hold from Vitality by simply taking it as if it's a CEO.
Well, let's see if something comes together from it, because to be fair, why not change what you're doing? Qual, ready and waiting to do a run out on the Jaeger that has otherwise been handed to him. In the meantime, Stiggy is back on the Maestro that, as we saw, was so deadly the previous spin round this point. Brede is ready to C4 underneath, and if he gets the word from the Valkyrie cameras, which doesn't seem like it's quite come through, and it's just allowed to get the wall open. Maybe they want to bait a little bit more time, but Kama opens up, takes care of Bibu on the smoke, and that could be a big moment to allow themselves a little bit more safety as they start to actually push into the point. Rask is busy working away, IQing through the floor, trying to find everything that they can, and there's a big firefight coming out. Pasha putting a lot of bullets down towards the Valkyrie, who got very brave for an MPX.
Just drop to the floor straight away, and will live to fight another day. So, Vitality, they've lost their smoke, so it gives Forza a little bit of time now to work with, but also that, nobody's really in a great position to stop a plant if it does come in from lobby. You know, Spark is below, Qual in open area, everybody else from Vitality is kind of backed away in towards the archives. This should be fine for Force. They haven't opened up any vertical control as of yet because they haven't brought like a sledge or a buck. But they have opened up above Brede. He has to be careful, and somehow Shockwave lets that kill slip through his fingers. And now they know that a mute is on the rise. Still hunting for him, will land some shots, but then there's Stiggy, still being as potent as ever with the LMG. Pasha looking to try and aggress onto him. Gets the drone in, knows exactly where to look. WTG eliminates Spark. And now Stiggy has been held and eliminated by Pasha. And Forwards look as if they're sending it into overtime.
Well, they've got 30 seconds to do it. It's a 4 versus 2, and Qual could be a big swing in the favor if he manages to pull off the frag to his left, which he sees, and he doesn't quite get the drop, saves the life of the man, and they're well aware of where this Jaeger is at this point, and now they've got to find a way in and get the plant down, knowing that someone is up above. If Qual gets the information and can stop this plant going down, because Brede can't quite, and there is Forza throwing us into OT.
Oh, 4-2 split on either half. It sends us into an extra 3 rounds if we need it to see who is the better banked team. Still, series point for Fours here. They take this map. That's it over. Another clean 2-0 for EU. And Vitality, they get knocked out. Or Vitality can try and pull us back and take us into our third and final map of this evening. Vitality, they get the defense first, which is probably the best thing that they have going for them, and they get the lockers right off the rip. This is going to be the third time Fords will attack, but, big but, can they learn from their mistakes?
I mean, so far it's looked like they kind of can. Their first attack here was pretty abysmal. Their second had some legs, and it came down to time, which is the second time that has actually happened this map. Outside of that, obviously they learned enough on CEO and Tellers, and in a weird way, yes, the defense is the preferred side here, but this is where we've just seen Forza take 2 rounds in a row. They have a bit of momentum. If there was a time for them to want to try and take this, this is it, really, because they might be able to make something swing, and if they get this round, and they get to go to their lockers or their Tellers defense as a first swing, with such a long time since the last time Vitality attacked what was a very creative defense from Forza, well, this could be theirs. So, Vitality, you have to make this round work for you.
5 seconds remaining.
Okay. Vitality, exactly the same setup. They haven't changed anything at all. One thing that I would like to see Forge do before anything else is open up the A hatch, which is what they haven't done the previous times about. And they did kind of lose the round because they allowed Qual to sit right in the middle of A, behind the bomb chassis, and just pick off your team as they tried to push in. So probably, Forge, that should be your main objective, is to try and get Rask in there, has the blowtorch, and can start opening up that hatch. Wonder if we're going to see any more aggression from, like, Stiggy, because he has been, like, the man for Vitality for quite a while, especially this season since he did get picked up, to just take those aggressive gunfights, try and get the first blood, try and give his team the best possible outcome. But no, just sitting tight. And once again, this hatch is going to be opened up. Last time it was Bandit tricked. Oh, but no, there's a well-timed flash grenade, and Qual now has to back on up. Still, A hatch hasn't been opened. For some reason, I do not know. Because if that was open right now, we would probably see a dead Qual, because he'd have to come back to the bomb site.
Yeah, and I guess it's just the semblance of timing, because as we saw the first attack round that they took, Forza took it with pace, and I think they want to try and keep that. They want to keep the momentum, they want to keep themselves kind of gunning and being aggressive against Vitality and making Vitality have to suffer on the back foot, even at the cost of maybe not being fully in the setup position that they want. WTG yet again has found himself in a corner where he's going to swing in and straight into the smokes, but he does find the frag on Bride this time. Is suffering.
He's in the fire again.
The Capitao fire, but they're going to try and force the clash back into his firing line, and it doesn't matter because Qual is there to pick up the frag instead. Kama is trying to wait for a body to swing in front, but there doesn't seem to be anything coming, and Rask is actually up to rotate round. They're going to get aggressive and try and put pressure against the man inside, and all while WTG bleeds out. And no, there is a big impact there as they can't quite find it, and there's Spark with a double, and Qual with the C4 to lock down Camera. Is just shockwave against the world, really, with WTG still on the floor. He has everything to do, and he at least finds a little bit of a wide Qual there, but, you know, with a clash on the board, a smoke and a Stiggy, well, it's looking tougher and tougher as time goes on.
Still Fours, they cannot get to grips with holding that downstairs. They still can't do it. They cannot attack this site to save themselves. That server push has completely just stopped them. They can't get through the clash. It's worked a charm. Shockwave now creeping down main stairs, but hey, look who's waiting for him. Stiggy, ready to go. And even Clash rotates down. Should be an easy lockout for them, and yes, it will be. Fours, they fall. Vitality, 7-6 now. But Fours, they get to go on the defense. So if we're looking at it, Fluke, honestly, even though Vitality had the lead on the defense, the second time around, we're expecting this to go to 7-7, yeah? We're expecting Fours to win this defense, right? That means that Vitality need to go to a CEO or a Tellers, which Fours won both of those the last time. So is it really in their favor starting defense first?
I'm going to still say yes, because they've also taken both those points once apiece. You know, CEO has been one where Fort's out of the the 4 times we've seen it, they've only managed to win it once across both attack and defense. So they still have an option where they've got statistics behind them. But, you know, it's really down to how much Forza show up, because they are a team that when they're kind of pushed and it comes to shove, they can kind of make it work in their favor.
Pasha brings out the Ella. Wonder if it has the Titan Killer
Attackers need to
equipped.
locate and defuse bombs.
I hope it does. Be a shame if it wasn't.
I mean, if it wasn't, would that change your opinion on whether they're going to win or not?
Well, they're going to win now because he has it locked and loaded. Let's see if he can get the Power Stone working and try and obliterate Vitality. And Vitality, this is like the first time they've attacked in quite a while. First time in, what, 7 rounds? They now have to go on the attacking stage. Could be quite a big change for them. Have to adapt pretty quick, or else Fours will take it into max OT. Shockwave on the pulse, I like that. That's one thing that Vitality didn't bring a lot, was the pulse, and we know how strong that kind of moving information can be. You can just gather, you can play inside a server to assist your man playing on server stairs, or you can play in Gold Vault, and that helps with the final execution, gives that constant information. You can tell your teammates how many is actually stacked up outside, ready to go for the plant.
Yeah, it's the thing, it's actually been a bit of a... We haven't seen a huge amount of pulse for all the times we've kind of gone down to lockers, based on obviously the creativity that Forza originally brought, that has seemed to fallen down to a more standard hold. And I think they're kind of saying, well, no, we know we've got to take this round. We're going to play it as the standard hold is. We're going to trust ourselves. We've got the smokes to throw over the top. We've obviously got the pulse and the C4 for the information, and double down on that as well. And, you know, this is, I guess, a standard way. In the meantime, Stiggy has found a bit of the fire that he had on his defenses, looking to aggressively try and push against this garage side, but is waiting for a little bit more information and a bit more pressure to come in to allow some support against it. They're letting everybody else move into the pace of Stiggy right now, and Vitality are setting themselves up to start to execute. They're happy and confident with the droning work, and I think what Stiggy might have been trying here is, if they have gone wide, maybe get in aggressive quickly, and they've quickly realized, oh no, wait, Forza are playing this more defensive.
Defender has left the area of operation.
Constant information, of course, being fed in towards the player on the staircase. Last time for Vitality, they basically threw the round away down to Kama with the LMG. They have adapted, though. They're sending a man to try and eliminate him. So they're kind of splitting their forces, but if we see Stiggy lose that fight, then Fours have that automatic advantage, and in Vitality, they're down a man who has some great utility using Sophia. Could be a great help for eliminating Pasha, for example. Hatch gets opened. That doesn't really matter, though, the Fours. As long as Shockwave is alive and just keep feeding constant information, then he doesn't really care. And that shotgun's still primed and ready to go. Minute 10 and Vitality, no real headway. It feels as if they're going to really have a big issue with time, and there's the gunfight that we pitched that would kind of decide this now. So they've lost the utility that Stiggy could have provided. C4 actually got EMP grade, so that was a lucky timing for them.
Yeah, it's one of those rare tricks you see, but they do technically counter each other. Here's the aggression swinging against Pasha, and the grenade is the one that finds him, and Pulse does not get out of there. So close to making it, but Qual picks up a quick double, and that is a big swing back in their favor. But with only 40 seconds, they've got to make more work of it. Swings up and doesn't quite find him. Looks at the wrong angle, Jaeger. And Bibu drops Rask, and it's now quickly falling apart for Forza. They still have this Maestro gun at range. The pings are still coming out, and they need to find a way to just stem the roll a bit more, as WTG is going to double down with these canisters and make sure that a default plant can't go. Is playing as safe as possible, but the pings are continual, and Breeday's health is starting to dip down. WTG finds one, but they're going for the plant, and the information will be there. If he can get this body down, this will be absolutely monumental. Kama finds it! The diffuser is cold on the floor. They can't quite get it down. They have both just pulled away. They're going to leave it to Spark. The two bodies are inside. One holding the close corner. It is down to the Maestro on the floor above. If he can get the unknown man, he gets one, but we're in a post-plant situation now. Camera on a little bit of health, and Spark has pulled all the way back to the place where Maestro was so monumental before. how can he make this work in their favor? A lot of thinking left to do, and he's looking for all the holes and angles that might have been open to try to get him out of here, but he can't quite make it work. Drops in, he has no idea where Spark is. None of the information, not enough of the time. Spark doesn't quite see him though, and he's gonna get aggressive and swing round, but he goes straight past the open wall. He's spinning and drifting and twirling. He's gotta stick it at this point. He can't get it, and Vitality find themselves locking down the second map, and we will soon be heading to a third.
Oh my... What was that round? It was absolutely bonkers. And Vitality, a hard-fought victory at that, they managed to make it happen. So we are on for a third map. Stick around, because you probably want to see it.
Absolutely stunning! They are the champions!
Predict the outcome, win the game. Get live coverage and schedules for your favorite tournaments. Analyze, predict, and vote to gain points. Compete with other esports fans and climb the leaderboards. Strafe, everything esports. Download now on iOS and Android.